Ladies and gentlemen, we have a series on our hands between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the New York Knicks. This is the first series that both teams has won a game. Tonight, the Cleveland Cavaliers took down the New York Knicks 107-90 in a game that was highly physical, a game that the Cavs dominated kind of from start to finish, and they punched back after getting beat at home in game one in this series. This was going into it probably the most interesting, entertaining series that we thought was going to be close, and it's lived up to the hype so far. We're headed into games 3 and 4 in New York. As I've said many times, we're not overreacting to one game. We're going to talk about what we saw tonight, the adjustments we saw from game 1 to game 2, and kind of what we'll see going forward. So we're not overreacting. The Knicks are not in a bad spot. The Cavs haven't won the series, nothing like that. But tonight was highly entertaining, and the Cavs punched back. That's what we love about playoff basketball, is at times you feel like one team is clearly superior to the other, and then the next night it might completely flip. And that's what we saw in games 1 and 2 of this series. Before we get into the game, make sure you subscribe to this channel. We're up over 1,200 subscribers. We're doing videos every single night of the NBA playoffs, so don't forget to subscribe. It's been a ton of fun so far, and there's so many good series left and so many good matchups. The rest of the series is going to be electric. So, like I said, the Cleveland Cavaliers won 107-90. Behind a monster game from Darius Garland, who had 32 points, 7 assists, and then a massive game from Caris, Levert off the bench. He had 24 points. Donovan Mitchell added 17, Evan Mobley 13, and Jarrett Allen had 9 points, 10 rebounds. The key to the Cavs' success is what I said after game 1. Isaac Okoro is unplayable. And I know that sometimes it becomes a little bit of a joke for me on this channel, kind of roasting Isaac Okoro. And I'm not someone who wants to criticize players too terribly much. But Isaac Okoro is unplayable for the Cleveland Cavaliers because the spacing he forces them to not have is so painful to watch. They already have 2 centers in the game, in Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, that aren't really shooting the 3 ball. Evan Mobley will sometimes shoot it here or there. He shot 0 tonight. Jarrett Allen shot 0 tonight. You have 2 centers on the court that aren't shooting the 3 ball. When you add a small forward in Isaac Okoro that's not going to shoot the 3 ball, you completely limit your offense. The way that they can defend, they can drop a third guy down and really clog the paint and make it tough for Mitchell to get to the basket, make it tough for Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen to work their little 2-man game down low. So tonight, they finally listened to me. Someone in Cleveland sent the message that I said, don't play Isaac Okoro. And tonight he played 3 minutes, and the Cavs absolutely dominated the basketball game. The concern was, can they still play defense without Isaac Okoro out there? They played one of their best defensive games of the entire season tonight without Isaac Okoro on the court. They decided to play Danny Green. And it's not that Danny Green is going to score 20 points for you a game. He is simply a threat to shoot the basketball. That adjustment going from Isaac Okoro to Danny Green playing those minutes, and Caris Levert obviously played great tonight off the bench as well. But giving those minutes to someone else, it's just so valuable. All they need to be able to do is stand in the corner and have a defender on them. That's all we need from Danny Green. He's not the same player he used to be. He still does add value. Tonight, I was highly impressed with Darius Garland, but more so than anything, the Cavs' aggressiveness, the physicality they played with. We saw guys bloodied up. We saw a lot of guys on the floor. And the difference between regular season basketball and playoff basketball is really, it's jarring with how much more physical they allow it to be. And it's such a better product. It's so entertaining to watch. The scoring of the games is going to go down. And the Cavs, as we know, were the number 1 defensive rated team in the regular season. The New York Knicks boast a very good offense, though. So it's a real challenge for them. And in game 1, the New York Knicks were able to score at a high level, and they were also just dominating them rebounding. The Knicks were 3rd in the NBA in rebounding in the regular season. Cavs were 25th. So when you're looking at this series, that was one of the big concerns I had. Will the Cavs be able to keep up on the glass in order to compete in this series, because we often see a good correlation between rebounding and who wins the basketball game. Tonight, the Cleveland Cavaliers actually won the rebounding battle 43-36. I think they just need to keep it close, and they should be able to compete in this series. The Knicks are a very good basketball team, and they're led by Jalen Brunson, who's a really, really good playoff performer. I talked about in the last video, his ability to score in the half court is so valuable in the playoffs. Julius Randle, we know what he represents, had 22 and 8 tonight. He's a good basketball player. Part of the problem for the New York Knicks is they're not getting a lot of production from RJ Barrett, who scored 7 points in game 1, 14 points tonight, in a 4 of 13, 14 points, so an inefficient 14 points for RJ Barrett. And Emmanuel Quickley's just not giving him really anything off the bench. He had 12 points, but most of those were in garbage time. So the guy that was in the running for Sixth Man of the Year, it'll either be him or Malcolm Brogdon to win it. But the guy who's in the running for Sixth Man of the Year is not really giving them the punch off the bench that they were hoping for. So we'll see how that develops going forward. Josh Hart tonight kind of had a rough game. He was questionable for the game, so he might be dealing with some nagging injury there. But then the Knicks got 4 points from Quentin Grimes and 2 points from Mitchell Robinson. One thing I do, so just all in all, the Cleveland Cavaliers did an excellent job defensively. They forced 17 New York Knicks turnovers. Actually, both teams had 17 turnovers, but they just did a good job making it really difficult, making them have to work for every possession. But what will we see the adjustment be from the New York Knicks heading into Game 3? Just because that's what we saw tonight, doesn't necessarily mean that's what we're going to see going forward in this series. The Cavs have to find a way to steal a game in New York on their home floor, and we know that crowd and that stadium is electric. So it's going to be a tough task for the Cleveland Cavaliers to do so. One thing I do want to touch on briefly when it came to this game, both of these coaches ticked me off at the end of this game. The Cleveland Cavaliers were up by like 25 points with 4 minutes left in the game, and both coaches left their starters in. And we almost got a really, really bad Julius Randle injury when he was headed to the rim in a fast break with about 2 minutes left in the game, and Jarrett Allen went up to try to block him, and it was just really scary, really dangerous, and Julius Randle landed directly on his back. And I just don't understand why these coaches, I'm sitting there screaming at the TV with 3 minutes left. Take your starters out of the basketball game. When you're up 25 with 3 minutes left, let's not risk injury. Let's not risk a Jarrett Allen or Julius Randle injury, especially because both these teams have dealt with that throughout the season. Julius Randle is coming back from an injury. On the Cavs side, Darius Garland missed a lot at the beginning of the season. Donovan Mitchell sprained his ankle multiple times. Jarrett Allen missed some time. So we need guys to stay on the floor. Let's not risk injury at the end of a pointless, not a pointless game, but a pointless few minutes. It just doesn't make any sense. Tonight, I think Donovan Mitchell did a great job facilitating. He had 13 assists, 17 points, 13 assists. I do really like the fact that he's a guy who they showed on the broadcast, top 7 all time in playoff points per game. I think he's number 7, right behind, I think, LeBron and KD, which is a heck of a list to be on. But the ability for him to go away from the scoring tonight because he saw his teammate Darius Garland really had it going and feed the ball to him, make the right play. And I think that you do see that chemistry developing in that backcourt between those two guards. And it's really entertaining. It's really exciting to watch. And Caris Levert, he's good for games like this. He's got to be one of the more frustrating players in the NBA. Caris Levert will look like an awesome player one game, and then the next game he'll be 1 of 7 with 2 points, and you just don't really understand what happens on a game-to-game basis. So if they can get consistency from Caris Levert, they can play Danny Green off the bench instead of Isaac Okoro minutes. You start to spread the floor a little more. It allows Mobley, Allen to work in the paint the way that they do a great job dishing off to each other. And Donovan Mitchell being able to drive the basketball and not just feeling like he has to shoot the 3 ball because the paint is so clogged is going to be really important, especially when you head into the next round. Who is it going to be potentially in the next round? We'll see what happens with Giannis. So if the Heat win, this is kind of a different story. But if you're looking at that Milwaukee Bucks team and what they bring to the table, Brook Lopez is a really good rim protector, and Giannis is potentially the best rim protector in the entire NBA. If you have a guy in the corner in Isaac Okoro that can't shoot the basketball, and Giannis is able to play off of him and kind of play like a safety and just roam the middle of the basketball court, it could be a disaster for the Cleveland Cavaliers in trying to score. So it's important that they have a guy on the floor that can shoot the three ball, is at least a threat to shoot the three ball. And I think that that's the adjustment I really liked from the Cavs tonight. They played so physical. They defended at a high level. I think Garland defended at a very high level tonight, even though that's not what he's known for. All in all, very entertaining basketball game. We're headed in to game 3 in New York, and we'll see how this series turns. Will the Knicks punch back or the Cavs keep rolling? That is the question. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Appreciate y'all watching. Cyborg out.